Oh god, persistence is dead again.
It's
The
like
Death Part 2, Electric
it's
Boogaloo.
like a scene out of The Godfather. Aerith wakes up. There's just a
Persistence is
severed
a
persistence head
desiccated
next to her.
corpse.
We did make that joke actually. Just she wakes up and you're mummified.
Why is persistence crucified upon the walls today?
This is my new
There's a
system.
little
This is
there's
my
a
new
little
character,
note that
Patience.
says persistence 0, caster 2.
You don't understand. It was a service contract.
His warranty is over.
There must
Um,
always be a Louis.
yeah. I think I really am gonna name my next mummy Lev because he's so good at killing things,
I'm really.
and
You
also
should name
he's
if that's your justification. You need to name it Nash. Statistics
well.
backs
Also,
this up.
it's a double joke because it's also that you're dead to me, and they're
Oh,
all dead things.
ho ho!
There'll be a lot of irony in the Blood Bowl now.
They're dead
Yeah.
to him, but he really cared about that mummy.
I don't know. Maybe you can make it up to me by leveling up super quick.
Oh, I thought you were. I was about to say, but we can't do that until we finish a round of intrigue.
Till we get the bell.
Oh boy, there's so many japes and jokes here. I don't even know where to begin. Um, so last time you guys discovered and dealt with a demonic cult underneath Villaplanche, in the process discovering a new ally in the form of what's her name? Hang on, I have it right here. Villaplanche. She is Maxine Bloodworth, who is a necromancer of some skill, who will now be aiding Mayor Blanchard with keeping his troops in line and raising undead ones for him to aid you in your upcoming battle. And you returned to your mansion base, formerly owned by the mayor of Chimie in that city, with the uh, mayor of Villaplanche, Mayor Blanchard's children in tow, uh, Julienne and let's see. I have so many NPCs.
I think it was Elijah was the second one.
Gabriel. No,
Gabriel.
Elijah is Gabriel. Julienne and Gabriel.
No, Elijah's. Wait, no. Elijah's one of us.
Elijah's one of you.
Oh
If you could
boy.
have a second Elijah, that would be really useful.
Yes, it would. I would like a second Elijah.
Um, so you also have with you Elena Rudnikova, who is a UDDC prisoner that you freed from the cult's grasp as they were making her fight in their little arena, as well as the orc Ortguth, um, who is traveling with you as well. Um, and I believe at the end of last session, you had said that you wanted to do a more role-playing session amongst yourselves. Uh, so, in the spirit of that, who would like to go first?
Are we finished up the night, right? Like it's the next morning, or does anybody
Yes, it
have
is.
something they want to do for the previous night?
What time do I arrive?
I would say like 3 or 4 a.m.
Okay, cool.
because
That's actually perfect.
it's like a 5-hour ride, and I'm assuming that you like did your business in the dead of night,
Mm-hmm.
and then got out of town.
I was about to ask where he got a horse, but he's perfectly capable of stealing a horse.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I let him have that one. And like the mayor would have provided you with a horse. Like there there's no question he could have a horse in my mind,
Yeah.
at least.
That'd be the third horse he's provided us.
So Elijah, kind of retconning here, but I've also thought about it, just didn't talk to you about it, has been kind of keeping his ear out amongst the people of Kaime.
Mm-hmm.
hiding his buffer, walking around town and things like that, and keeping his ear out for who's really good at gardening.
Okay.
He's going to go into one of their homes tonight
That
and drag their ass out of bed.
Oh, why?
okay. Do you have a name for this NPC that you just pulled out of a hat? Which I love, by the way. Don't get me wrong.
Jacoby.
Jacoby. Okay.
Hey, Jacoby.
No, Jacoby.
Jacoby.
Toby Jones.
Well,
That
hopefully,
makes the
hopefully he's a
third
slam dunk for what I need him for.
Jacob name in Westgate sort of
Yes, it does. It's a very
lore.
common name in the Empire. So I'm going to go break into their house real quick
Okay.
and go wake them up, but like with a hand over their mouth. Hold my finger over my mouth, like stay quiet, and I'm going to take them out of the woods.
Just, mm.
No words. Come with me.
Uh,
Take them out of the woods into like a secluded grove. I've been running around with scouts and everything and doing hunting missions, so I assume I could have found one of those.
Sorry. I was looking at something else. You found what? You're taking him where?
Just like a secluded grove out in the woods, someplace
Yeah.
that's not easily findable by other people.
Okay.
Okay, now that we're alone, you can speak.
What the hell, man? What's your problem?
I need you to do something for me. I need you to tell no one, not even the people that I'm with, not the locals, not your best friend, not your crush. You tell anyone, I'm going to have to kill you.
Okay.
I've heard you're a very, very talented farmer and gardener,
I
and
am an expert botanist. Yes.
good, good. And then he's going to pull one of those saplings, one of the cuts that he's been slowly nurturing out of his jacket pocket. Do you know what this is?
He kind of adjusts his
Oh.
glasses and
Oh
pulls out a paper.
shit!
It's like, yes, this. Where did you get this?
I took it whenever the last set burned. Do you believe in the ascended, the anointed? Do you
Uh,
believe?
no, no. I mean, look at me. I'm an elf. Of course not.
Good. I have a better question though.
Yeah.
Would you believe in them if anyone could be one?
Uh, what do you mean? I mean, okay. Let's define some terms here.
Yes.
Because like I believe in them, like I know they exist. Like I don't believe in their ideology.
Good. What I'm saying is if the current set were torn down and a new, better set made of all peoples that have been chained would arise and serve the people, do you see how that could be a good thing for what replaces the Empire?
Um,
People with that power who truly serve everyone and can protect the borders, but not this polluted fespit that we have now.
I mean, I see where you're going with this, but I mean, they drink blood, right? Like that seems like a pretty big drawback for that kind of power.
So do I. What they refuse to tell you is it doesn't have to be human. Mine doesn't always have to be. Sure, it's better, but then again, a nation like this has no shortage of enemies at any time.
Hmm.
It does not have to be what it is. What I'm asking of you, if you choose to accept it, is to start the first step in helping me build something better.
Hmm. An interesting proposal, and an interesting challenge. Uh, the slaves weren't allowed into the Gulthias groves. It was deemed too important uh, to let slaves work it. So it would be it is quite tempting. Do you have like a gardening area in mind? Like obviously we can't if you're going to keep this secret, then we can't just plant this anywhere.
And I look around me. We're quite a bit of way out of town here, and I haven't seen anyone else in this grove. But if you think this is not far enough, I could look further, more secluded,
Hmm.
but somewhere that you can get to obviously within your normal day and can get to unnoticed is what I'm
Hmm.
after at the moment. Once it reaches a certain level of growth, it will discourage attackers all on its own.
Uh, yes, I had heard that. It was said that the reason that the Alvarez didn't bother to guard the grove is it guarded itself.
And indeed it does. All you have to do is get it off the ground, and without anyone noticing, and then continue to nurture and trim it. Because trust me, it does not see you as an enemy until you deal significant damage. So some trimmings here and there to help it along will not raise its anger
It
by any means.
it doesn't see you as is it intelligent?
I'm not entirely sure,
Hmm.
but it, as I said, we had to wound the last one greatly before it chose to strike back.
I see. Well, that is reassuring. Um, all right. Uh, I'll see what I can do. But I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it alone. Uh, if you find an arcanist or some uh, lore master of magic, particularly of necromancy, uh, I would want to consult them as well. This is because I'm given to understand that Gulthias trees kind of operate at the borders between regular botany and magic.
I think I have a woman in mind who might be able to keep her mouth shut, if only for the sake of the fun of it. Um, just kind of forward role playing. I'm gonna send a letter off to the woman that we met.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
Okay. Maxine.
yep, Maxine, because I think that she's very simple. She likes to do her work and she likes to do it well. I don't think she's
Mhm.
gonna have too much of a problem jumping in on a little project as a side hobby and send letters back and forth to this guy.
Mhm.
Maybe even come visit the damn thing if she has time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
What
once
was
again,
the
she was
Yeah, the
more than
Alvarez like
yeah.
leadership tends to keep the secrets of ascension close to their chest.
Oh yeah.
So, as somebody who is outside of that hierarchy but has a great interest in necromancy, that is reasonable to think that she would want to be involved in this project.
Oh yeah. Oh, trust me, getting more secrets and questioning them before I murder them is the next few hundred steps. After I get to level 9 and have the death trinkets and I can call the dead back up to ask them questions, it'll be helpful.
That will be helpful if you can find a gardener.
Oh, thank you. Oh, and if you're having trouble figuring out to feed it, try blood. It's my best guess. The farmers should have plenty whenever it comes to slaughter time.
Oh, yeah, I suppose it would, wouldn't it? Um, all right. Well, I'll see what I can do.
Hey, Jacob, why are you carrying buckets of blood out into the forest?
Well, you see,
Seems weird, man.
yes, but I can explain that. You see, well, catch.
It's right.
Throws one of the buckets of water
Ah, no!
its way.
Ah!
Jacob just gets this like legend about him as being the worst prankster in the village.
He accidentally hits a young girl who was excited for prom.
Oh no.
Oh no, that's not coming out.
Nope.
Good to know we're still running a prom.
Yeah,
Okay,
well, you
so
know.
that is my activities for the AM.
I assume
until
he's
I get back to
keeping.
town and everyone wakes up.
I assume Elijah is keeping that hidden from everybody else, in which case I'm curious as to how you're sending letters to Maxine, because Persistence would probably be doing what he can to make sure she's not secretly conspiring with anybody. Like, she is not a trusted person. If she's receiving secret letters, that's probably thin ice for her.
Well, I guess
Oh
that,
yeah.
who has custody of your diplomat?
I do.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, are you wanting to send her a letter today, Elijah?
Is Persistence asleep when I get back?
Yeah, him and Aerith are probably asleep.
Cool. Where's the diplomat
Wait a second.
pouch?
Wait, what time are you getting back?
Like 5, 6 in the morning probably.
Oh yeah, by then at least.
Because you say I got back to town about 3. I don't see it taking more than 2 hours for me to get this guy and talk
Yeah.
to him.
Yeah. No, your conversation was pretty quick. Yeah. So, you definitely beat Persistence and Aerith's passive perception, and they have disadvantage if they're asleep. So if you want to sneak into their room and drop the letter into the diplomat's pouch.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But then it goes to the. Oh, I guess you could address it, and the mayor's not gonna open it if it's addressed to Maxine. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm going to write Maxine's name on the front in the good anointed blood.
I mean, you don't know that. I mean, he could theoretically read it.
Oh yeah. But I'm not going to be putting all the information in either. Just I need you to speak
Okay.
to Jacoby the gardener. And Jacoby knows to contact me if anyone starts trying to question him about shit. I'll show up and murder them.
Okay. All right. So you've had a busy evening and morning. So you actually didn't sleep last night then.
I did not.
I believe that is a Constitution check, or unless you're going to go to sleep right now.
Nope. That's
Okay.
con save.
Don't you have reduced sleep time?
Nope.
No. I believe that is a level of exhaustion.
I'll take it.
Okay. I think the DC is 10. So you just barely made it. You're a little bit bleary-eyed, which is weird because you're part vampire, but it does affect you.
Vampires are famous for sleeping.
I mean, yeah, they sleep in their coffins.
Better
Cool.
than you're a half vampire.
See, I'm just gonna be sitting out in the balcony before it wakes up, just bleary-eyed.
Drinking from your blood flask.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so you're not exactly bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, but you are here.
Yep.
All right.
You know what?
so-
Actually, last night was a hard night. This deserves fresh blood. I'm gonna pull out one of my rabbits.
Okay. So yeah, so I guess that segues somewhat neatly to Persistence and Aerith if you have things you want to do as you wake up.
Yeah, just wake up a bit before dawn, as usual. Do my sort of morning routine exercises. Go and get the kid up as soon as
Okay.
dawn is about, because I told
Well,
him.
yep. Sorry. No, actually, I stated last week, she makes a point to get up before you. so she can wake up the kid and not. I don't know how Persistence is gonna wake up this
It's
kid, but
all right,
she.
but
That-
does
I
she?
imagine Persistence waking up, and then the sudden sound of Persistence waking up, just Aerith like bolts up. Oh shit, you're awake, and then runs out of the room. Kid!
Would you? Would you? Because is Aerith usually an early riser? Like she's a pirate. Okay. All right. So yeah, I do my
Okay, well,
stuff.
so she went from a pirate to being.
Want to imagine that, considering the situation we are all in, all of us would be early risers, and those who could live off of little sleep.
Oh yeah, fair. Yeah, I grab the children. Uh, I bring them out to the court because I assume I give the girl the choice of like, your brother's training starts today. You can sleep in if you want, or you can watch him if you'd like. It's your call.
Go away.
That's what I figured. Come on your feet. Just get them out to whatever. Like I assume, like this is a mayor's place. There's probably like a grass area or like a dirt.
Oh yeah,
thing,
there's
some,
plenty
yeah,
of there's
little
a yard.
training area. Put them through a few exercises, just jumping jacks, push-ups, just the usual thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's like, what kind of sword did he come with? Just like a wooden sword?
He has a child-sized like saber.
Saber? Okay, and that was the one
Yeah.
he came with, not one that Jacque gave to him, right?
Correct. So it's just a regular like non-magical one. Yeah.
Okay, so Persistence takes out his sword and it's like, okay, show me what you've got.
Okay. He puts the sword up into a reasonable guard position.
Do I need to roll to just overwhelm him?
No, you're definitely.
Okay, I cut his sword in half and kick him in the chest.
Oof. Ah. Oof.
First lesson, you know nothing.
My sword. Dad gave me that sword.
And it was useless. You'll earn a new one. Let me tell you something, boy. When I was 6, my family gave me to the Savonan Protectorate and started training me into how to be a soldier. When I was your age, I swore to train to become a knight. I'm going to put you through a sliver of what I went through at your age. And you are going to become a much better knight than your peers because of it.
We call it
Understood?
the hellish ringer.
All right, let's do it.
Alright, and then Persistence. Alright, good. Goes over, takes his shirt off. He's got scars just periodically over him, not like a bunch, but just he's sort of like a marble David skin tone, but just with a few scars, except his back is covered in writing that looks like a brand that's still smoldering in Infernal. And he grabs 2 wooden training swords he made sure to bring with him, takes one himself, and then mage hands over the other through the air and just shoves it in the boy's chest.
Okay, he let me make a dexterity save for him. He manages to grab it.
Alright, cracks his neck. Let's drill the basics into you. And I spend, until he cannot stand, I spend however many hours that takes just beating the shit out of him and showing him. Just like very hard, just like emphasizing that he doesn't know swordsplay, sort of break him first thing of basic training sort of morning.
Okay. So that leaves me to some rules that I came up with because you guys were talking about stuff. So first off, if you look at his character sheet, I made a stat block for him, and that is his starting stat block. So I looked at the rules for sidekicks.
Oh, we're taking this boy into combat. Oh, Aerith's gonna love this.
The fuck we are. Excuse
Oh,
me. Do you see that
this
level
guy's
of
got
zero?
this guy's got a lightsaber.
Look at that con and deck score. Look at that.
I
Man.
felt bad about kicking him in the
That's
chest,
great
but now
crap
you can
for a
kick him in the
commoner.
chest some more.
Yeah.
Man.
So the sidekicks from Tasha's, they technically are supposed to start at the same level as you, just regardless of what
Oh
happens.
no,
But
that's
I
not
didn't.
fun.
That's not fun at all. So I came up with a little bit of unique rules here. So here's him after he's had a little bit more training. So if you guys want to, so Gabriel's not the only one who you can do this with. So you can take on sidekicks, and they start at different levels depending on like basically flavor. So he's starting at level 0. He's basically I picked a stat block and I was like, yeah, this seems like a 12-year-old in comparison to everybody else that we've been fighting in this, right? Because the trained soldiers that you guys have been fighting are actually challenge rating 3. So something that's challenge rating 1/8 feels like it is reasonable, somewhat reasonable for
Yep.
a semi-trained kid,
If that, yeah.
if that, yeah.
There's some giant rats in the basement. Go kill those for us.
I
real
mean,
quick.
I don't know if Tika told you, but in our SW5E game, they found a 6-year-old factory worker, and all of his stats are just 8.
Yeah,
But
I mean, this guy
he does have a pistol.
that does make it a lot easier.
Yeah.
So yes, so there's a couple of things. So once you get a sidekick, you can level them up in a few ways. So first is training. So if you want to, you can spend a week training Gabriel yourself, and that will level him up once. And that you can level them up to a maximum of your level, so level 8 at this point. But that would require 8 weeks of training, of dedicated training time, which I don't think you have time for. So there's a couple of other ways that you can level up your sidekicks. One is if you have them along with you on your adventures, and they have some sort of moment that like feels like a character moment, like they really grow as a character or have some defining experience, then they'll level up. So I'll give them a level. So I'm not making any solid commitments to like, they're with you for so many weeks, they level up. It's they have to like do something important or like have a clutch moment where they come in handy to like show growth.
The
The
the way that I'm doing it from every campaign, which you don't need to do it this way, just letting you know,
Sure.
is
Yeah.
whenever they are placed in the same kind of mortal peril as the rest of the group, which, 6-year-olds kind of discouraged, but whenever they level up at half the rate as the rest of the party.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the rule of thumb I'm going for there.
Right.
We're gonna use him as a shield when we fight.
We're probably not.
Right?
We're probably.
Yeah.
I like this system. I am not using this child for the system. He's not useful. And Aerith won't
Well,
let me.
So that's where the
I'll
No,
kill
I
third
any
won't
one
let
of
you.
you.
that's where the third way of leveling
I
up
will
comes
not let
in,
you.
is if there is some task that is somewhat challenging, that is not really suitable to having your organization go and do it. Like you would want to have like a low-level party of adventurers go and do it. The idea would be you could have some of your sidekicks go and do it, and they would go and have their own like little mini adventure.
Hey, Gabriel,
And
there's
it's
some weird gardener who's dragging buckets of blood into the forest. Go see what's up with that.
yeah, exactly.
Figure that out.
That's weird, man.
Don't make me murder this child.
I mean, you would be a really good boss for the session.
I will say, eventually, like, Persistence is keeping such an eye out for traitors and spies, he is going to have a talk with that guy. It won't be today, it'd probably be in, like, a week. But
Right.
there's no way in fucking hell you told that guy to feed that thing of blood, and Persistence would not... Like, somebody would notice and somebody would tell Persistence eventually. Like,
Oh, probably.
that's going
Yeah.
to happen.
Hopefully it
also
grows
him-
quickly.
Also, him sneaking out into the woods by himself.
Yeah.
That's like classic spy behavior.
Like, this... I understand that you are very, very sneaky, but there's also a whole counter surveillance thing that Persistence is focusing on here.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
he
no,
doesn't
that's
And
the
trust
thing.
these people.
Elijah's
I
very
am
sneaky,
sneaky.
but this guy
He's
is
not.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. If I could garden it myself, if I had any talent at that, I would.
Honestly,
I have a feeling this is going to get out to someone.
honestly, though, Persistence would probably ask Elijah to look into it. But let's do a squire training thing first before we go into that. That'll probably be in like a few days.
Yeah. So yeah. So my thought is that you could ask me for any NPC potentially to become one of your guys' sidekicks. If you like, find a PC that you like, or if you have an idea for one, then they could become a member of your stable of sidekicks, and you can have them go off and do things. And you would use them for, like, if we have a week where um, you know we're missing some people, or if we want to if there's other people who want to, like, come in and guest star, as it were, as a sidekick, then we could do something like that and just have like little one shots with the sidekicks going off and doing these other missions. If you have any that you can think of that you
And
want
we
to use
shouldn't
them
have gotten
for.
rid of Soul.
Yes. What was the leader of the demi-humans' name?
Laura Enzo. It's that
Yes.
My Hero Academia chick in the middle of the screen.
It's
Yes.
motherfucking Nana Shimura.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
She-
Because remember,
yeah, she-
I said I was going to try to keep some of the demi-humans around.
And we got
Yep.
3 new ones too.
Yeah. So she's definitely a candidate. I will note though, so this hasn't been a formal rule so far, but it's just been something I've been kind of doing anyway. Is that as you guys have been making and recruiting units, sometimes they'll come with like an NPC that is their commander, and other times, like, I'll have one of your NPC minions come and take over. But at this point, I think I would like to formalize that a little bit and basically say that as you are recruiting units, you're going to also need to be recruiting commanders for them. So you can't just be like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to, sit here and recruit a unit. You also want to get NPCs to command them. So somebody cannot be both a commander of a unit and one of your sidekicks. So they have to be one or the other.
How is that going to work with almost all the units that we plan on recruiting are undead?
So at least for the ones that you're currently recruiting, the ghouls, Tantalus put
Doug? Is Doug in
Azuli.
charge of the ghouls?
Well, Tantalus put Azuli the witch in charge of the ghouls.
Okay.
So I was gonna have her be the commander for that. And
Don't take
so
Doug from us like that. He's the MVP.
No, Doug can be the commander of the horsemen. He's earned it. He can be a knight.
yeah, that sounds like a good idea to me. Or he could be one of your sidekicks. Basically, you can if you have an NPC, you can promote them to be either your sidekick or a commander of a unit.
Put Gabriel on a pony, put him in front of all the headless horsemen.
Yeah.
One second. Let me go down the list of commanders that died when we blew the place up. I'm gonna find them.
That would be amazing.
We'll find them out there somewhere.
Why can't
I've been
the
living in this
oh,
I've been living in this castle for nearly 2 weeks.
You know who should be the commander of them? Sven.
Yeah.
Sven's is busy.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna say, I was like, man, wait, can
we're
Tantalus
using
actually
Sven
take a
for
sidekick and
our.
it just be Sven?
We use him for our domain power, so I wouldn't feel right having him as a sidekick.
Sven is a wild
It's
card.
time.
You need to keep him
It's
wild.
time to get another summonable creature from domain power. Then it's time for Sven to level up. It's time. He's earned a promotion.
Yeah.
Did you keep those guys, or did you just delete them?
We got to promote from
Yeah,
within. We can't just interview from outside.
All of the NPCs that have died are under a historical folder in some place or another.
It doesn't have access to us. They're somewhere.
Well, no, they're there for you to look at. They're just not necessarily. Yeah.
I mean, we could summon more undead to do it with our domain powers. It could be
I only
like
see 4 people in historical right now.
Oh,
technically only 3 people.
I know a commander who died when we raided Chimie. That'd be fun to bring back. Alita.
No.
Bind her in undeath.
Yeah. That seems like a
I don't
fun
know if I'm
idea to
allowed to
me.
do that with angels, but I'm sure I have her in a basement somewhere.
No, we
Chimie
put her on a stake in front of the ones fleeing to Bateau. She's a withered corpse out in the field
Oh,
somewhere.
Yeah.
she's
If you want your
probably still
A
out
whole
there.
army returned to this place. I'm pretty sure they took the stake down.
That's up to Thur.
Yeah,
God, how
probably,
would
but I'd
that?
say you could find her corpse. Yeah.
Like if they gave her a
They
proper
would
barrier,
give.
or if they do
They
like
would have given her a proper
the
burial or an entombment.
Yeah.
unless they count her as a saint and they're like, we're gonna ship her off to a proper church and we're gonna put her in the crypts.
We're gonna carve her up in the souvenirs.
Ooh.
I mean, they have crypts here, so.
And I don't think they would have considered
But would they put them
losing
in
as a
these
possibility.
crypts? Like, I don't know. I guess it depends on the process.
Mhm.
Hold on.
'Cause-
The question does stand. They had crypts. How many of those crypts survived the explosion?
I mean, they're not the
Funnily
crypts.
enough, all of the crypts in the fort survived. That's why the vampires were able
Well,
to come
then
out
let's
unscathed.
try
Uh,
it. Then
is
let's
'cause
find out.
your explosion actually was big enough that it perfectly destroyed both entrances to the crypts. Because there were two, and the explosion perfectly collapsed both of them, but left the crypts themselves untouched. It was actually pretty amazing when I measured it out. I was like, well, that's a whole bunch of danger that's just
Player,
not a
as
problem
a
for now.
player, I love the idea. Jacque wouldn't be for it.
But yeah, I asked you in DMs, and I guess you probably want to keep it secret.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Y-
because I've been like raising zombies this whole week, and I get
yeah,
or
you
whatever
have
when
not
I'm not doing,
found
and they're just kind of running around digging through the rubble,
any of the kids, no.
or just anything interesting at all. Just rocks.
Yeah, I mean the corpses of
The
He's
Ogida
playing that
Dragonborn.
twist on
and
the long game of.
The
He's playing that twist on
Dragonborn
the
can
long
lead
game
them.
of Jacques kids dead.
But yeah, I guess I'll leave it to you.
Mhm.
Because it's not like I don't know if they do, like, if any priests were here or that did embalming. Like, probably if they heard when the retreating forces came here and they're like, oh, we lost. She's like a saintly-ish. She's like low
Mhm.
level priest. I don't know what the ranks is. They probably like, let's take her to Bateau at the Cathedral of Light or let's bury her there temporarily. Whatever they do.
No, I mean I like you having the option, so I'm gonna
Because
say
she's
that
like a
she is.
religious figure, right? And there's like, we can't just
Yeah.
let these people defile all this character
Well, see,
anymore.
here's the thing though, is that like the army that came to fight you retreated back to the cathedral directly. They didn't come back to Chimie. So the people who were leaving Chimie were just evacuating.
They didn't, even if there's like some priests that set up support staff to like deal with things, or just like it's left.
Mm,
Because I imagine it would only take like 10 people. It's like, oh, this corpse is kind of important, or it's like, we're too busy. We're gonna have to leave this
mhm.
around. I guess that's up to you. I can do a roll.
I think they
I
were
don't
too
know.
busy. I like the idea, so I want to give you the option, and I want to give you guys the opportunity to role play out the debate about whether or not you should resurrect her as an undead minion. Um, you guys also, I believe, you're after this week, you will have, let's see. So you have the swamp hunters, right, which are tier 2, and you have the headless hunt, which are also tier 2. And then you'll also have another unit of Golthias ghouls, which were also tier 2. So you'll have 3 tier 2 units, which means you could theoretically recruit tier 3
I
units.
thought we were getting tier 3 cavalry.
Hmm?
I thought the plan was tier 3 undead cavalry.
Yeah. But tier 3 is also where flying units start coming in. So if you
Cavalry can have
wanted to,
wings.
yeah, you could do flying cavalry. You could do a unit of flame skulls for Sven to lead.
Yes!
Yes.
Yes!
That's awesome.
Yes!
Flame skulls.
I thought you guys might like that idea.
I think,
Yeah.
since, are the flame skulls purely necromantic, or are they hellfire things?
I mean, you bound them with a hellish contract, so yeah, I think it's Hellfire.
Okay, that's probably... Persistence would be working on that. It would take longer because you're binding skulls of hellfire, but like even story-wise, before Noctum is even done with the ghouls, Persistence is just, in his abundance of free time, also just like finding, finding skulls and just slowly carving infernal runes into like the inside of them, just like with a knife through the eyes, and just
Well,
just
it's
slowly just working on those.
yeah. I mean, it's a good thing that you that Jacques also volunteered to help train Gabriel.
Yep. I will say, because
Yeah.
I looked at the stat block, Persistence only knows how to use two-handed weapons. His
Mhm.
fighting style lies literally only works with two-handed melee weapons. So I'm not sure. I think that Jacques is a bit more focused, but if Persistence is taking the lead on training Gabriel like he promised, he's teaching him how to use a two-hand sword.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jacques uses sword and board, so
Yeah.
he can train him with that, I assume.
That also
right?
doesn't mean that he doesn't know how to use two-handed. I mean, he
Jacques,
wields
I
a
think
sword.
Jacques would know how to use two-handed. Persistence is
I mean,
much more
you're
focused.
proficient in yeah, you're proficient with other weapons, right?
I'm still proficient, but that's not
Yeah.
like the fighting style that I have that I would start to like. Oh, you know what?
Mhm.
I wouldn't even get into that advanced stuff of Gabriel, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like he's not gonna get a
It's not
fighting
yet then.
style
I'm still
anytime
beating
soon.
this
Yeah.
kid's ass.
Yep. I have one hand, which means I'm using my strength, which is not as good as my charisma, and I'm still kicking your ass, kid.
Yeah.
He's 12.
Yeah, I was 12.
You see Aerith as Aerith walks by to go find Elijah, just laser focused on you. Like she's got her eyes squinted. She's just like, "You motherfucker!" I swear to God.
If I saw her watching, he would stop the training and just make the kid turn and just give a bow and just teach him how to be a knight, just sort of thing,
Oh yeah,
etiquette
she would
wise.
be in full regalia too.
Yeah.
She is for this downtime, this moment of downtime. She has donned her high priestess clothes with the breastplate over top to give her the warrior priestess look, and
Mhm.
she is making her way with a purpose.
Okay. So that sounds like a perfect segue to get into what you wanted to do.
Yeah. I'm trying to find Elijah because I don't want to just roost home without at least informing him.
Okay. Well, Elijah, I believe, is hanging out on the balcony, right?
Yes, he is. I'm just waiting for everyone to wake up and waiting for hopefully a meeting later on in the day.
Yeah, she'd come strolling out. Eh, you don't look so good. I don't think I've ever seen you sleepy before. I wouldn't. Are you alright?
It has been a very long night.
You ran all the way back from Villeblanche. I don't blame you. Alright, I'm gonna need the temple that you're currently sleeping on the ceiling of,
Wait,
if you don't mind.
why do you need mine? There are two others.
I know,
Take,
but
you could
it's
take
the
them on both.
largest. I understand that. But it's the largest, and I need to build an infirmary. We're going to have a lot of injured because we have a lot of more bodies in play. And I'd like to start getting stocked up now before, they get here. So if you don't mind, I would like to borrow, no, not borrow. It's going to be changed. But I'd like the temple if you don't mind.
If you do this, you must make one of the other two habitable for me since you're the one kicking me out. It is your problem.
How would I go about
The
doing
actual
that?
fucking landlord.
Take all of this stuff from the priest, get it all out of the building, defame a couple things, clean out the attic, maybe put some bedding on the ceiling. That should do.
What What if I what if I let you stay in this temple, but we made the bottom floor the triage unit? I'm
Is it
not sure
going to be
Kealandi
used?
would mind you.
Is it going to be used as a temple on the bottom floor?
Not really. Well, you see the problem is, I'm slipping into your accent. Shut up. um,
It's easy to do.
I, it is. It is very easy to do. Um, I, you see, the problem is, it will be just sort of by the nature of the infirmary. That's sort of part of his bag. All of his temples tend to have infirmaries. So
Then
by
no.
that,
It I cannot have a god popping in on where I'm sleeping. I, no. It's not going to happen. You want to unhome me, you fix the problem.
I that's pretty fair. But no, I swear. And she like grumbles to herself, and she goes, sweep it off. She needs to talk to Nasir. But yeah, I guess she's gonna go find. Ah, this is bad. How dare you, Nash?
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I would just move if it were me, but Elijah's just noble enough and just pompous enough to be like, no, this is your problem.
No, and she gets it. That's why she's not like fighting you. She's just like, ew. Ah. It's like one of
I'm
those
really
rich people moments where you're like, ah, rich people.
I'm really excited to see who you get the betting on the ceiling.
Hmm. I'll think about that. But yeah, she goes off to find Nisty and Nasir first, and
Yes, my dear, what can I do for you?
I I was hoping that I could borrow your skills, you and your craftsmen.
Well, we are ever at your service, my lady, for your kind yeah. Excuse me. It's a little bit early in the morning. Uh, your provision of our freedom.
I and she sort of blushes at that a little, but she'll look at him and she'll be like, "All right, I I'm gonna need bandages, and lots of them, enough to stock an infirmary. I'm working on trying to get uh our own infirmary up and running, just in case. Um,
Bandages. Do you? No, no, no. You're right. Sorry, it's um. Yes, you're right. Um, the Alvarez will be back soon, I'm sure, and they will be none too happy about what we've done with the place. An infirmary sounds like an excellent idea. I will make the necessary arrangements with the weavers.
I appreciate if there's anything else that you can think of that we might need, I'd
Hmm.
appreciate it. I entrust your more than capable hands with this.
Why, yes. I mean, I once sewed a garment for the princess of the um, the court. I think some bandages will be well within my skill set.
I do
Um,
apologize for asking you to do something um so below your level of skill.
uh, yes, these are trying times indeed. Uh, Perhaps one day I will be able to return to my art. Uh,
I might be in need
but
of some new high priestesses close. After all this is said and done. Do you think I could call upon you? I need something,
uh,
and she like shows the sort of weird
mm,
fabric that
mhm.
her dress is made out of, and she's like, Oh my god is kind of over the top. And I would trust no one else but you.
He kind of squints and feels the fabric with his fingers, and looks at the cut, and all of the work. He says, let's see. Yes, I believe I could do something like this. Is this Torrent's work?
Is it orange?
That's Keelandi's tailor, so I assume so.
Yeah. Aye, it would be.
I can do better than Torrent.
I'd expect nothing less. And I look
Somewhere in the
forward
far
to it.
distance, Kilandi grumbles.
Yeah.
I have a fine tailor, damn it.
I would recognize this stitching anywhere. It's sloppy. It's a small world, tailors.
And
You need a 20 perception to notice this sloppy stitching, but it's there.
it's there.
Yeah,
That stitch is 2 inches or 2 centimeters a little to the left. It
of where
should
it
have
should
been.
be, yes. So yes, this is. I will get all that right away. Oh, I'm so excited! I'll make you something so beautiful. You'll love it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And I've got
Ah.
that suit for persistence as well, I believe.
Aye.
Master Hilburn, I should
He's
say.
been a little cranky about it, so I am sure he have done excellent work. He won't shut up. He's very excited.
Of course, nothing but the best for you.
And she gently claps him on the elbow, smiles gently, and I don't want to cut into what Jacque wants to do, but she does need to go find Jacque now because now she's got to talk to the people of Chimie, and she's not good at that. So, boom.
Okay. Yeah, so you're gonna go and find Jacques.
The entire time the persistence has been training, Gabriel Jacque has just been on the side watching.
Yeah,
So
as he sort of they go through a set, he hits him in a weak point, knocks him to the ground, picks him up, adjusts his stance and footing with the mage hand, just sitting there and staring at him and just telepathically nudging him into into a more proper position and everything, just not even touching him.
Not even a gesture, or?
No, just looking at him. I don't need to do material semantic components for a mage hand, so I'm just looking at him, just nudge, nudge, nudge. That's how I fight too. Is how I see it. Is just since I'm charisma based, that's how I get my hits in. Is I just push open an opponent's guard just enough for me to slip a sword through.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, just correcting him, drilling it into him, just pretty basic.
It's been an hour and he is definitely shaking.
Yeah. Let's take a break.
Ugh.
I've got a pail of water nearby. Just dip some cups into. Pour one on his head. Just
yeah. He is drenched in sweat.
I am not.
Yeah. Okay. So Aerith and Jacque want to have a conversation, right?
Yeah, I am looking for Jacque.
Yeah.
When I find him out there, she will sort of slip back into who she is with the masks and slump down next to him. She's like, Jacques, I swear to frickin' Keelondi, I need your help.
With what?
Well, to get Elijah out of the temple he's in, so I can then use the temple as a triage unit for, the impending battle. I have to get
temple for him. Does he not just stay in the rafters?
He does, but he does it, and I quote, want a god showing up when he's trying to sleep. Or whatever. I don't, but I'm not sure what to do with him.
Why
'Cause
that? Why that particular temple?
it's the biggest, and we're getting more and more either, freed slaves or units in all the time. A smaller temple won't do it. Also, you gotta think, what if while, one unit is injured and they can't, and she just goes off about like how long recovery time takes versus, and she's just babbling about just like medical. She's just going off.
A large. This appears to be a large project that you're looking to endeavor. It's not just going to be you providing triage aid to these units, are they?
Yeah, it'll probably be me for a little while. And I can do it. I'll be alright.
I
But
mean,
eventually I'd really like. Oh, sorry.
I just want to remind you that a unit is approximately 100 people. So if a unit gets wiped out, that's 100 casualties to deal with. I think that's a little bit much for Aerith. You're going to need to organize at least some form of not you medical
Yeah,
staff.
she realizes that.
The
Aerith is
triage is
also going to be
brutal.
busy in the actual battle too, so
Yeah, that also.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
she's thinking.
If
She is specifically thinking post
if at
battle.
the moment if at the moment it is a small operation, it would be best to start in a smaller temple. Too
But then I
much
gotta
room,
contend
too
with the
much
other gods.
space, and too much room. You would want to bring too many people that you could handle in, and then you would overwork yourself and would be no use to anybody.
She sort of huffs at you, and she's like, "Wait, how do you know me so well?"
You're too nice of a person, especially when it comes to those who need aid. Let Elijah have his belfry at the moment. We can discuss when everything becomes a little more stabilized after this of relocating him or being able to seal the belfry off separately so that no god can disturb his beauty sleep.
That would work.
Right. I just want to make sure that we're ready, Um, I don't I don't want what happened last time to to happen again.
Sort of puts a hand on her shoulder. I understand. There's a lot of burden and weight that we carry with us. Those who seek to aid and mend and heal. But overextending ourselves can only bring more bad than good.
I
It takes time. See if you can find a team within Chimie who wishes to be a part of your triage unit. If anything, if we can't use the large temple in the town, we can use a lot of the other forts or whatnot that are not used as separate triage units in case there is infection or more severe cases. We can keep people separate to keep them a bit more safe.
all right. I know there's a couple temples around here, and they obviously have to have priests. I think that's where I need to start.
That would be best. Appeal to their simple nature with their deities.
there would not be
Everyone
any
worships the god, but in the end,
there would not be any priests left of like free Alvarez priests. Maybe some slaves if they were formerly priests, but not any Alvarez priests would be left free.
no, I'm not saying like, oh, find an Alvarez priest. Like, no.
I mean, yeah, you
Mm.
can definitely ask amongst the freed slaves, and you'll be able to find either current or former priests to form this field hospital, essentially, and people are more than willing to help you stockpile supplies. So this
Yeah.
also leads into some of the new downtime activities, because you guys said you wanted to spend some time in Kaime kind of preparing things. So we've already done a little bit of downtime activities with crafting an item and learning maneuvers. Um, we talked about training sidekicks. So if you wanted to set up like a field hospital in one of the former temples, I would I am putting that under this lead the people activity, where it's basically you go out and you go among the people and you find you can basically this is your opportunity to come up with your own NPCs that you can add to the game who are like gonna be your team in this field hospital.
Okay. Ooh.
So this is not an exhaustive list. So this is just kind of my like ideas based on what you guys have said so far, and then open for other things as well. Uh, so you don't have to come. I don't know if you had ideas in mind, but if you wanted to, uh, like in between sessions, just send me some names and idea, like a bit of background about a couple of NPCs who could staff uh, the triage unit, and then we'll talk about what that would do once it's set up.
Okay. I can work on that later.
Right, sounds good. Um, okay, so Aerith is busy setting up her field hospital. Persistence is busy with training Gabriel. Jacque is watching him. Elijah is uh, taking it easy after having a hard night. Uh, what about
Yeah, if everyone's busy for the day, he probably will sleep on the porch. But
okay? Uh, so we haven't heard from Minx, and we haven't heard from Nenelus Toctum, or maybe Tenelus Noctum now that he's no longer undercover.
Well, what Minx would likely be doing, because at this point the chain breakers and the Marines have been in the city for a while, would be checking up on their continued efforts to train and recruit the locals into the various militias. Because that was some of the stuff we had talked about. I remember in the beginning of the UDDC being the more professional soldiers were going to be the people training the city folk, less to work them into professional military units, but more of just like everyone knows that another attack is coming and this is going to be a big siege. So I think that there would be plenty of people who are looking to defend what little that they have.
Yeah. Persistence was also probably ask Minx to handle the newly freed slaves that we just got from Villeplanche and make sure they get settled in and taken care of.
The pit fighters?
Yeah, the pit fighters. The Dragonborn, the Orc, and the 3 demi-humans.
Mm-hmm. In fact, Minx would probably meet up with them. Well, okay. Where would they have
That's up to you.
gone the night before? So Minx, I mean, his usual, he hangs out with the party, but then at night he heads off to the Marines and the other UDDC, and he generally just performs and dances and makes sure that everyone has a good time because that he's literally a propaganda minister. This is just what he does.
Yeah, Elena would probably have gone with you.
I'm kind of assuming that she would more or less reintegrate with the others unless there's a particular reason that she wants to not return to some kind of military unit.
No, she could definitely do that. So as a named NPC, she is eligible for sidekickdom or commanderdom.
But we have someone commanding the chain breakers at the moment, don't we?
You do, yes.
So
Yeah.
so this
Or the
would be
captain,
more
Sergey.
right. So this would be more for the Marines.
Well, the
Or do
Marines
they?
also already have a captain.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
this
fair.
would be for a future unit, or if you want her to be your sidekick.
I don't know too much about her. And the orc was looking for info on finding his daughter.
That's right.
But he wasn't sure where he was auctioned off yet. Or no, he was, but it was just outside of where we are.
Yeah. So him and his daughter were processed in the Fortress of Servitude,
That's what
which
it
is
was.
on the other side of Bateau, and it's
Right.
kind of like a slave processing center for taking in prisoners from the Empire's various conflict zones.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were separated at that point.
At this point, would the demi-humans who were kind of the abused cook slaves be comfortable enough to try and reintegrate with the other demi-humans that we've got throughout the city?
I think you could find some people that would help take care of them. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely like some of the worst cases of abuse that you've seen so far, like directly.
Right.
But I mean, they're far from alone, as is kind of the way in slave societies. So there's already people that have like set up support networks for those who are bearing the brunt of Alvarez tyranny.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so as unnamed NPCs, they are kind of they're I'm okay with letting them dissolve into the background.
That's fair. Minx would obviously have approached Workliff. That's his name?
Worketh, yeah.
Workguth. Workguth. Uh, Comrade, I know that you are interested in finding your daughter, and I am certainly uh, going to do what I can to ensure that this happens. But until this moment, we really need help in the upcoming battle. So I am curious if you want to fight on the front lines amongst the others, or if you would prefer some sort of role back of the fighting. I am not inclined to be pressing you into anything, but I would appreciate the assistance you could bring.
The Alvarez are my sworn enemy, and I am no coward. I fight on the front lines, or not at all.
This is fine with me. However, I don't suppose you know Draconic.
I can't say that I do.
But you are clearly quite used to common at this point.
I still get tripped up sometimes, but I am somewhat fluent, yes.
Mm-hmm. There is a chance we will need people to help lead the demi-human militias into battle. They are not of your kin, but I'm sure your bravery could inspire them. However, if you wish, the Marines will always take someone along with them who can fight, but I warn you, very few of the Marines actually know Common, and I don't think any of them know Orcish.
Communication is important in battle.
It is considerably, yes.
You would do well to instruct your soldiers in the use of common. They might need it on the battlefield when coordinating with friendly units.
We have a number of messengers who definitely know the language, but you are no messenger. You are a fighter.
This is true. If you wish for me to lead warriors into battle, I will do so. I am more than capable. I have led many battle parties for my tribe.
Well, we have some days before they arrive. Would you like to take up a position and observe as we train the locals, and then maybe amongst their number, take who you like the most for your own personal unit. I'm sure some of the demi-humans will distinguish themselves.
We shall see how strong their fighting spirit is.
I cannot ask more than this of you. With that, he would probably lead him, as mentioned, to where they're training the others, and have, just kind of inform them that he's a very good fighter, so that if there's any promising demi-humans, that start working with him, and then keep training him as a unit. However, at this point, Minx would be checking up on with the Marines and what they know of the city, because Marines have a tendency to find stuff everywhere because they're Marines. They
Sir,
have to
our
make
crayons
do.
are all gone. What?
Exactly.
Hoorah. Hoorah.
Yeah. Even in the best of times, they're never really given everything. So literally, like, raiding and looting and just pilfering is just par for the course with them. Even if it's not stuff they would use, they would probably know where a lot of stuff is.
If that's
He-
happening,
oh.
a persistence would have an issue with it. Just noting that.
I mean, in the sense of, okay,
Like, he'd go to Minsk first about it. It's just like, Minsk, we have a city that we captured while in ruins. We're trying to reestablish people's lives. Jacque wants them to reachieve normality, and your troops are stealing everything that's not nailed down.
Oh, no. So this would have been like in the immediate taking of the city kind of thing. After their first priority is defacing all of the temples, and then kind of destroying the aspects of Alvarez rule that aren't essential to the continued operation of the city. Any of the just sort of fancy bits, those would all be taken down. And then they would probably have found the homes of the elites that were definitely in the favor of the old rule, and not structures of use to us as a party, and that's where they would have set up. That's more of what I mean. Not that they would continue to raid, but just like the initial days would be them finding, all right, what can we basically turn into a barracks? What areas are defensible?
So it's like
all that kind of
those
stuff.
pictures of like the Soviet soldiers when they were going into the palace, and they're all complete bedraggled peasants with guns, and they're in this extremely opulent rooms.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this is just kind of how they operate. They go to those places first and just figure out, what's useful and what's not, and then just sort of settle in those areas. But he's going to them because he's hoping to find one of two things, or even both potentially. One, if there's any form of printing press in the city. And two, if there was any form of newspaper or journalism or anything of that nature in the city.
Yes and yes. So you find your troops have taken over the sprawling mansion What?
Persistence would probably, if they're desecrating the formal nobles' residences, persistence would not catch them immediately, but persistence would definitely take issue with that sort of thing. Not with the churches. If they start to do it, he's like, no, go and desecrate the churches. Go there.
Yeah, they definitely desecrated the churches.
What do you want? A printing press? I will get you a printing press. Just don't spoil the nice houses.
Oh, they're not spoiling them. They're just living in them now.
Yeah,
they're
arts.
As long as they're not breaking the fine china. You said defacing things.
Like in the sense of statues of the Empress, and this is the Alvarez war hero. They're like, knock that off its pedestal. I mean, that kind of stuff. Like the public. I mean, this is very much part of getting rid of any symbols of the old Alvarez rule.
Minsk and Persistence would have to have a talk about that, because Persistence's whole thing is yes, the churches, the temples, religious figures or icons, fine, but the nice fancy art one, we can sell it even if we don't want it, and two, it's like persistence is very much like not in abolishing all the nice rich stuff. He has no problem with that, and it's like we need places. Once we get enough allies, we need nice places for them to stay. we
Why don't you guys have that conversation in character now,
yeah.
and we can say that it took place like as
Yeah.
you were on the march to take over Chimie.
Or
Makes
probably in the kind of the aftermath of some
Yeah.
of it having happened.
Yeah.
Comrade, let me assure you, what is happening now is the Marines are collectivizing the art. For they know the art is the key to a culture, and sometimes you need the key to unlock the potential of the people. What they are destroying is really the things that are just too heavy to be worth trying to cut anywhere. The rest of it, the paintings, they will be no doubt stacked up somewhere safe-ish and left with a minimal amount of paint damage.
Minsk statues are still rather valuable, and even though they're heavy for us now, I will certainly be able to find buyers for those down the line. Those are resources, but I do not want them just destroying for the sake of celebration of our victory. There's value and worth in that.
Yeah. I could suggest that they keep it to a respectable medium, but you're going to have to accept some of these things. They're not going to survive.
Oh, I have your way with the churches and the temples and the various religious places. I have no problem with that, but as long as they're breaking things, keep it to those. But for the residencies that we can repurpose into, our own headquarters or places to house our officers to sort of, give them more comfortable positions of privilege in exchange for their good service. And like I'm sure that as a commander that you do have to reward those who provide exemplary service. We need to keep in mind that we do not want them living in despoiled ruins.
I would say that you think too little of them, considering they're going to want to live in this mansion for the time being. They're not going to want to turn it into a hovel while they have to live there and destroy things so that the rain can get through. All I would say is they will probably be consuming whatever is left of their various wine cellars, and I am not getting between the Marines and any wine cellar. I'm sorry on that note.
Oh, no. I've already made sure to, before they got it, extract the more strategic vintages, if you would. They're free to have the rest. They earned their keep there. Although I will say we will need to find some more of those rations sooner or later. But yes, I know that the UDDC does not take kindly to trappings and positions of privilege, but this is not your nation that we are helping to liberate. This is a separate peoples who do not share your ideals, and Jacque does not just wish to hurt the rulers of Alvarez, but to restore its people's positions. And I do not want you to unilaterally decide to take that away from them. And if this needs to be enforced amongst your people, then I will do so.
While I understand your words, I would remind you mildly with that tone of the number of the Draconitariat who have taken up arms in our service to take this city, and say that they would not take kindly for you trying to diminish their position in this way. Let us be satisfied. The mansions will not be despoiled. They will be lived in. There might be a bit of a smell, but they are certainly not going to trash up the place. I will say, considering we are going to be facing vampires and various other undead, you're going to have to accept there will be no silver cutlery left in any of these places. Even if it is just a spoon or a butter knife, many marine or chain breaker will use it to try and jab out the vampire's eye if it comes to it.
Oh,
The
no,
gold
yes.
and the other kinds of cutlery, they will remain, but not the silver.
Oh no, so the silver, if your men could actually busy themselves in collecting it, I'm sure we can melt that down into musket balls and spear tips and the like. No, that's actually a very good idea, and I encourage that. And the gold silverware even, collect it, send it back to the UDDC. Take it as appreciative payment of helping to retake the city. But I want to make it clear, destroying trappings of the old order purely for destruction is not something that I approve of. As long as we are in agreement and or at least understanding on that, I believe we should be fine.
As I said, we will keep it to a respectful medium, and that will be about where we keep things.
Very well. I look forward to not having to have this conversation again.
Yeah, certainly. I will let the commissars know, and everything will be settled.
Appreciate it. Trying to think if there's anything else the UDDC would be useful in finding. Persistence Prop say. Also, we found a printing press at this location. I'm sure that you'll be more than interested in it.
I certainly am.
Yeah. There we go.
All right. Advancing to the now.
Yeah.
There being a printing press. Would the printing press be in whatever they have passing for a newspaper?
Yes, the Chimie Chronicle.
The Chimie Chronicle.
And they have a small office building in the town. Pretty. It was abandoned in the evacuation, and they had to leave behind their printing press. And it was basically, a local newspaper concerned with just local news and local issues.
Now, would Alvarez have been? Because it seems as though their efforts for propaganda don't focus on that form of media, but I don't know for sure. Would this have been a place that's purely everything they say has to be checked by a priest before it could be printed, or is this a place that was kind of left like so long as they didn't do anything untowards, they're allowed to just kind of say, yeah, this is what's going on in the neighborhood?
I don't think that they have a system set in place where like a priest reads it beforehand, but everybody knows that if the newspaper says something that a priest doesn't approve of, that the hammer is going to come down on them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a more of a reactive operation than a proactive operation.
Yeah, very sloppy, very sloppy. And now, obviously, the people who owned it ran off. Would any of the journalists still be around?
No, but I think a couple of their slaves might be, like the ones who actually like work the press.
All right. Well, of this, okay, well, Minx would be visiting the press to inspect it, and would the slaves have even, stayed behind with the building, or with the knowledge of their freedom, would they have headed out to the various other camps and just abandoned the building as well?
Some of them certainly would have. You want to roll a T20 to see if you're lucky, and a couple of them have stayed behind?
Sure. Because running an old-time printing press is actually somewhat of a skill.
Yeah. There is one person who is remained behind because they don't necessarily want to run off and like join the army or go anywhere. They don't really have anywhere to go. So they just have kind of stayed here and kind of like kept their head down. So I'll let you name and come up with the background for that NPC, kind of similar to Vagab Aerith and her medical staff.
All right. Demi-human?
Could be basically any race, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of what would make the most sense. Could it potentially be? Oh, I have an idea. What if it's a Kenku?
Yeah.
What if the reason that they stayed with the printing press as that gives them as much of a voice as anything else.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Nothing's better than being able to make really good forgeries, which is really just what copies are.
Yeah. All right. So there's a Kenku who's hiding in the old offices of the Chimie Chronicle.
Certainly, when Minx would approach the place, he's not making any effort to be hidden or sneaky about it. I mean, hell, I'm pretty sure once he would open the door, he's here actively looking for people. So he'd be entering the office and be like, "Hello, all potential comrades who might be in this domicile. Are there any potential comrades who are in this domicile?"
You hear an Alvarez guard yell, "Who goes there?"
Minx would, kind of, shift to get a hand on his javelin, but he's unsure what's going on. So he's, approaching cautiously. An interesting accent, friend. Is there a chance you might step out so I can see you and you can see me? For your question, I am Migserev Pevi. I am one of the liberators of the city.
You hear your own voice echoed back to you, saying, "Can you step out and I'll see you and you see me?" That like segment of what you said.
Oh, now that is certainly interesting. He'll kind of advance. He's got his javelin in hand at this point, but he's not actively really doing anything else. He is just looking around, but he's out in the open.
You hear an unfamiliar voice just say, "Is it safe to leave? Maybe we should go to the camps."
Yeah. How many of you are there? It is certainly safe to leave, if that is what you are asking. In fact, let me say this nice and loud. If you want to be my comrade, I want to be your comrade.
He repeats that back. Says, you hear your voice
in
again
my...
coming back to you. If you want to be my comrade, I want to be your comrade.
Well, it sounds like we are comrades then. He's gonna tuck his javelin back into the quiver and instead pull out his accordion, which he figures someone wouldn't realize might be the more dangerous of his weapons anyway.
You see a bird poke its head out from amid stacks of old newspapers.
Now things are beginning to make sense, my friend. Are you here alone, or are there more?
He says back to you in your voice, "Alone."
You stayed with the machine, didn't you? The machine that prints many, many words.
You hear him say back in your voice again, "This machine prints many words."
This is quite interesting indeed. Well, I am from the Ministry of, the Bureau of Propaganda, and I am here to make sure the voice of the people, especially the former slaves, are heard once more. You were probably one who worked the machine. Da?
He repeats back to you, "Da."
Interesting. Now, you have a very useful skill here, and I would ask if you would like for me to bring some more comrades, people enamored with the word, here to you, so you can show them how to print on the press, how you can give your word to the masses, so they may all hear your voice through the newspaper. Da
Uh,
or niet?
he, he says, da, and then you hear him mimic an angry voice from the past that says, all right, that's done. Print it up.
Ah, this is very promising indeed, my friend. Very promising indeed. Well, the first things first, we're going to have to find a way to get this place organized. I will ask. I find that there are two distinct possibilities when it comes to staffing a place like this, especially since you, my new editor-in-chief, get to run it the way you want. I can either go and try and find those who have known it before and already have their skill set in their ways and think that they know how things should be, or I can find a group of people who are eager and enthusiastic but have no idea what they're doing, so that only your structure is what they will be built around. So would you prefer young and unknowledged, or experienced but set?
Uh, two possibilities.
Two possibilities.
Da,
Da. But which?
two,
Two.
da.
Da. Yeah. You would prefer for me to get both, those who know and those who don't know, to bring them to you together?
Da. Together.
Yeah. Yeah, very well.
That's done. Print it.
Very well, my editor-in-chief. Very well. And supposing you have any other name you want me to call you by, let me know. Otherwise, you shall simply be editor-in-chief.
Editor in chief. Clack 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 clack. He's
That
making it sound like a
sounds
typewriter.
good.
Damn it! It's another one of Mal's characters.
All right. Minx will then probably spend the rest of the day looking for those slaves who had previously worked there and are willing to take a job not on the front lines. And I feel like, how many people would have been in this city, like the population roughly, before all the stuff went down?
The city, it's like the actual urban center is like 5,000 people, and then there's another 5,000 in like the smaller villages all around it in the suburbs,
Okay.
as it were, the rural area.
I would imagine in roughly a pool of, even if it was just 5,000 people, if it's half of what it was before, there would have to be some younger people who like the idea of working for a newspaper, especially now one that's just the voice
I
of
mean,
the
yeah,
people.
there's plenty of young people who are former slaves who didn't have any prospect to pick anything about their lives, who now have the possibility to do other things, who would be eager to work for this newspaper.
All right. Well, that's what he'd be working on setting up.
All right. So it sounds like you would like to lead the people, as it were.
No. He is establishing the means for the people to hear their own voice.
Right. Okay. So Minx is working on that.
How
Getting
long?
started on that.
How long does Flock of Familiars last, and what's their movement speed?
It's an hour, and I believe they have a 60-foot movement speed.
Oh, just an hour.
Although I think did I tell you that you could keep it going if you just sat there and recast it over and over again?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Because you could You could definitely like airdrop leaflet that shit.
I
I'm
mean,
not
there's still
airdrop leafleting with 5 birds. I'm too busy.
yeah.
Fair.
You'll have to come up with some other means of spreading your propaganda leaflets.
Well, at the moment, it'll be for the city, but the idea is if we get this started and then continue to expand, we'll have a network that we can just build upon.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna build your very own news network.
Hmm.
Okay.
Commandant Foxerev News.
Okay. So we've heard from everybody else. That just leaves our lonely count. What is Tedalus up to?
My initial plan going into this was Mrs. Bloodworth was going to be, and I was going to talk to her. But apparently she's at Verplanche, so I'll just I had to get different stuff in mind, so I'll do that. I'll get back to that keep though, and I'm going to attend to the illusions.
Mm-hmm.
I got to make sure they're pretty, and go inside the house and ask Zuli if the ghouls are behaving.
Oh yes, they're coming along most splendidly. I think they should be ready for a test run in just a few days.
Good. Looks like the hoods are working well, keeping them under control. Uh, how's the infirmary? How are our new recruits coming along?
Oh, uh, just great. Here, I'll take you to meet them. Right, these were the guys you were turning into the Golthia schools, right?
My wood wraiths,
Uh, yeah.
whatever works.
Yeah. So they're all on tables. They've got the like roots growing through them, and they're making noise and wriggling. Everything's coming along and on schedule for you to have your new unit in just a couple of days. Uh,
All right. I met a very peculiar individual in the fields. You might have to meet her sometime.
oh, really? Who would that be?
A necromancer. Whatever, I forgot her first name, but she's Bloodworth.
Hmm. Interesting.
She's
And
a
where
bit
did you?
self-serving, though.
Hmm.
I'll have to see what we can do about that.
Yes. Shan't do to have selfish people in our ranks.
Well, if everything's good here, I'm going to take a nap. And I think I'll visit Jacque. He seems so depressed.
That sounds like a good idea, my lord.
I'll bring him some wine. He could use some assurances.
Yes, I believe there's some in the basement.
Yes. Nothing was found in the rubble thus far.
Only wounded, but we've been tending to them.
Oh, good.
Uh, some plans for marching on um where was it? Night Meadow. But those are obviously no longer relevant.
Alrighty. Sounds good. You looks like you have everything under control. I'll let you stay to it.
Uh, Very good, my lord.
Alright, we're gonna fast forward a bit. And I'm going to knock on Jacques' door. Probably sometime in the evening, I suppose. Breck's still here. Sounds like he's not home.
I'm here.
Alright.
In the evening, he's out at the training grounds where Persistence is training Gabriel, and he's just by himself working, just practicing movements.
I'll stay off in the shadows and I'll watch for a while.
Probably at this point, I've just got him like moving him into forms and have him do like, okay, now do 100 strikes of this and 100 of here, and just not kicking his ass anymore, but just like, all right, hold your sword like
Yeah.
this and swing it like this, like more useful
Yeah.
stuff.
He is obviously exhausted.
Crap, 1 second. Be right
back. Every time he looks like he's about to keel over, I just put my hand on his shoulder and I pump a few points of my Infernal Conduit into him, which transfers my health to his, like 1d10 at a time.
Oh, okay.
Just keep him on his feet. It's like, yep, you can do better.
Okay. Yeah, he certainly is continuing to go with his
I imagine it's invigorating, but not in a good way.
Yeah. Like evil Red Bull or something.
Yeah, well, you mean Red Bull?
Yeah.
And then probably not today, but like, I don't know how much time we want to spend on the training thing if we're going to do it for a week, but I'd eventually, in addition to the start with kicking his ass just to show how much or little he's improved from the previous. The training regiment is beginning of the day, kick his ass, and then sword forms, and then as he got more stamina from the sword forms, then I would start doing the like mage hand grab, like a heavy ball and just Jedi training him, just like moving the ball through the air and having him try and hit it, and then if he doesn't hit it, just smacking him in the face with it. You can only do 10 pounds of pressure, so it's not like, you know.
Yeah. It's like the training droid where it just gives you a little shock.
Just sitting there 30 feet away, just sitting down, drinking, watching him just spin around as I'm hitting him in the back of the head with it.
Yeah, so that is what's happening.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. But yeah, like Jacques just off by himself, separate from Persistence and Gabriel's training. If there's like, I don't know, like training dummies or stuff set up, he's um practicing against one of those, like shields sort of set off to the side and just sort of dealing it, like just practicing one-handed with his long sword, kind of in more of like a duelist stance, almost like acting like it's a rapier.
Well, when Jacque sits down to take a break, I'm going to like pop out of the shadows out of nowhere. Jacque, how are you doing today?
He sort of stops and he sort of like puts the sword into the ground slightly and just goes, "Fine, knocked him. However, you haven't gotten in any more trouble, have you? There's no
Oh,
underground fight rings underneath Chimie that you've secretly discovered?"
that was an adventure, but not today. I just wanted to see how you were doing. We're
Perfectly
neighbors, you
fine given
know.
the circumstances.
You often seem rather
In the
distant at times. I haven't gotten to know you.
Well, what was it that you would like to know, Noctum?
Well, I've been digging through the ruins, and there hasn't been any sign of your children. I think they're still out there. It was a gamble for you to come out here to visit me for aid. I can somewhat
For any decision that we do.
I can feel for your plight, for your children, and for your duty to your family. I just want to let you know that whether you see me as some type of tool or something to be used until you get your children, I want to let you know that I will be with you to see you reunited with your family.
Thank you, Tenellis. You are no tool. You are a valued ally. Thank you for trusting me to assist me in this.
Let's see here. So how goes these children you've acquired?
Acquired is a strong word. They're fine. I haven't seen uh, Julian in a while. I imagine that, of her downtime with the temples, Aerith has been telling her more stories of her piracy past. Gabriel, well, he's getting the short end of the stick with this stay here at the moment. Persistence has been rather, for lack of better words, hellish with his regime, with training
I've
him. But
noticed. You
If you
should be
can't
sure
stay
to
standing
give
when someone hits you in the leg, then you're going to die. Do it again.
be sure to give the kid the carrots sometimes along with the stick. Oh, that's
I
all I
don't believe
wanted
that
to.
I do not believe that Helburn knows that method. He comes from a much different upbringing, I believe.
Well, that is all
What
I
of you,
really wanted
Tenellis?
to do
What
today. Hmm?
you've given me aid through all of this, Tenellis, but I still really question deep down, what do you want out of all of this?
Well, revenge doesn't hurt, but I've kind of gotten over it. It's kind of nice, though. It is my duty to, as protector and custodian of my lady's realm, to oversee it. Though, ultimately, I see Alvarez as a threat to the greater colors of the world. When you look out across the map or just across the sunrise, they engulf everything. And if they're not stopped, I feel it will be a problem. All individuality will be erased. I don't. Yeah, that's about it.
All right.
I'll be
Think
seeing you later. Though I suppose I do have one more question. How far are you willing to go to get your family back?
I don't know if that is a question that needs its answer right now.
And I shall keep it to you. Good day, Jacque.
Good day, Tenellis.
Let's see here. As for like weekly activities, I don't think I got anything. Let's see here.
Well, I guess you guys don't know if you're planning on staying here for a full week or just moving on.
Okay, because everyone else is doing is like have their activities planned out. I guess I'm kind of busy though already, so
Mm-hmm.
that's basically all I wanted to do for now.
Okay.
At the end of the day, Aerith does come and basically scoop up what is left of the boy.
Oh, he does not
Because
last until noon.
or whenever, but like whenever training is over, mid her running around, she's just like, the boy.
If she is not immediately there to collect him, then Persistence would probably either no, he'd tell him to go and get cleaned up and rested, and he would find Aerith and just say, just the boy's fine, bit bruised and beaten, but he got a little bit better. We'll see what the week brings.
Right. No, but she'd probably be there on time to like just not coddle him, of course, because this is very important training. But she would be there to scoop him off the pavement. Just be like, all right, come on.
Okay.
She
So
is the carrot.
yeah. So you go to help him get cleaned up. Persistence, you go and like get yourself cleaned up after a hard day's training.
I mean, it wasn't a hard day for me.
True.
You think the guy from Mulan was tired after the first day of them falling off that pole?
That's true.
He wasn't donating HP to keep it going, though.
After that, I can heal myself. I have my ASMR thing to heal myself up.
But you notice after
Get down to business.
you get back to your room that you've received a letter. And it is addressed to Jacque.
Dun, 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 dun,
I would unseal it. I would make sure there's not like no arsenic and whatnot in it, like that whole thing.
Okay.
Like,
Do you read it?
There's no anthrax.
he would have discussed with Jacque as soon as he took the diplomacy pouch of what if Jacque wanted him to pre-read the letters and then just let him know when important things happened, or to keep them unread, or if it's from certain people to keep it unread and just deliver it privately. Mm-hmm. Like he would have he would have requested orders from Jacque on how to handle that.
Okay. Jacque, would you have instructed Persistence to read your mail, or?
Unless if it's like business or professional stuff from any contacts or anybody that we have.
Well, then I'd
we
have
would
to read
permission
it to
read
determine that. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you read it.
yeah, as soon as I saw that that's what it's about, I would start making my way to Jacque, but still just read it quickly and just get to him as soon as possible.
Sorry, I need to step away. I can hear the kids yelling, so I'm gonna try and help get them settled for a minute. I'll be right back. Yes. So I'll be right back.
You can see that, right? Right, Rack. You can read that letter.
I have it set to me, but when Persistence gets to Jacques, that's when I'll open it back up and read it.
Okay.
Jacque, do you know why Villapodge has such an extensive sewer system?
Well,
Quite
when you're a
strange.
city that is set at a river that will empty out to the sea, you need to ensure that you're able to separate your waste properly.
Not just
See,
Plus,
that, it's
in the
quite
past week of
arcane.
with it
history,
being that close to a river, plus with also it being that close to a river, you need an extensive sewer system to confuse any animals that might get in.
That makes me wonder about if it leads anywhere. How far do the tunnels go? For miles and miles do they go across all?
is there
Across
some
the
sort
entire
of
count?
darkness underneath us?
I heard it. When I stilled my breath, I heard the pumping. It's like it goes somewhere. Doc, how did it feel to watch all those people die? During the genocide that I forgot the name of. What was that country called again? Fuck.
Wait, was Jacques involved in? Well, I guess he was involved in a campaign before his career ended in Osarius.
I was more referring to Full Metal Alchemist, but I guess, did we do a genocide in this world?
Lord.
I mean, Jacques was a
We
member
didn't.
of the Alvarez military. He might
Yeah,
have.
Alvarez genocided people. It's kind of the thing.
Persistence has been
Doc, were you
involved
ever a
in.
part of a genocide? What happened to all the orcs? How do you feel about that?
I mean, I was a part of a few. It wasn't fun. But they weren't breathing at the end of the day, and I was.
I mean, at the end of one of those days, you most certainly were not. But
No, that was fairly early on. This was before the genocides.
oh yeah, but well, I whispered it to Thur as well, but Persistence would definitely, if we've got a tailor on hand, one of the like side projects he'd have been working on in free time is, well, whatever free time the tailor has, is definitely getting formal wear for all of you guys in case we need to do like be presentable in front of militaries or at parties, just like a show of force sort of thing.
You think Jacques doesn't already have that?
You know, because yours were probably taken from you when you were a prisoner and you were captured. You have lost
That's right,
everything.
but that's why he just does his armor.
Yeah, but
Oh, that reminds me of something I wanted to talk about. Jacque, what is this Asarius, and what are we doing over there for all that time?
you would know what Asarius is. It famously went away 500 years before your nation fell. So you would know what Asarius is. What'd be new is people being able to get there and being heard from again.
What is going on over there? What are you doing on that cursed continent, anyways?
Yep.
Heard
Heard a few of you are from there. What? I never
So when they
even asked. What
became
were you doing
safe,
over there?
there was a group. The UDDC was involved. The Kasani were involved. They all wanted a chance at anything that might be left over in that territory. So they gathered adventurers, those who wanted to explore this dangerous land. There
Oh,
was
very queer.
a lot of strife with everybody that was there within Westgate.
New colonies in this day and age. Very strange. What's a Kasani?
You. Wait a second. How old are Kasani?
And what do they do, anyways? They seem very important. Everyone talks about them so much.
Give me a second. The Kasani were actually. They would have been around, but not as big when your nation was destroyed. So they started about founded the university 500 years ago, so 200 years before your nation was destroyed. They definitely weren't as big as they are now, but
Rumors of being destroyed are greatly exaggerated.
I'm not telling Tenless this, I'm telling Cell this.
Greatly exaggerated.
Are you just asking Jacque this, or are you asking, like, everybody this?
What setting are we in right now?
Yeah. All of his questions that he's asking, Elijah has no clue. So he's enjoying hearing the answers too.
Should we all just be in a living room?
Sure, we
Chilling
can. Like,
out?
Persistence doesn't have Lev's knowledge, but Persistence, like, is up to speed on current events, as is Jacque. Definitely Aerith.
Oh, well, we're talking about it.
Yeah, and in the absolute reverse is that Persistence doesn't have Lev's knowledge, and Rack doesn't have Jock's knowledge. Oh my! What a Twilight Zone!
But Minsk has all of Cusco's not now.
Moo.
Well, we're talking about
Minsk would probably be the most talkative about all that shit.
Minsk, how
He's not
is
here right
this?
now. He's off with the
Oh, I can't
establishing
even ask
the
him. He's not
newspaper.
here.
The
He's so busy
the
with his
Kasani, they are a collective of extremely powerful magic users. Probably the strongest collection of them on the planet. They run a exchange program. Every nation on the planet that wants to curry power and favor sends some of their best and brightest to be trained at Kasani University, who in turn keeps the best of those and sends the rest back. It's a whole thing. They're very, very actively political neutral, if that makes sense. They try not to get involved in
I highly
things.
doubt that. You take the best of every nation, and you don't think they're going to be slighted towards their nation? I wonder where that will lead.
It helps them, from what I understand, build connections. There are some Savonans who go there and end up staying in one of the. They have
None
houses.
of these extremely powerful wizards are power-hungry patriots?
The ones that are return to their nations, and that's where many of the court mages of the current times are trained in Kasani.
How strange.
I shouldn't say most powerful. That's probably a bit presumptive of me. The most dedicated to knowledge over country, I should say.
This institution sounds like it'd be a focus of many countries. If you gain control of such a powerful and knowledgeable place.
There are some who have tried. Unfortunately for them, it is in the middle of the ocean, and from what I understand, very hard to assail.
Okay, I am
Very
back. Sorry about that. What did I miss?
Welcome back.
Just people talking.
It was basically Tenless decided to ask about the outside world.
I see.
So we explained the basics of
About Azarius,
Asarius, Westgate, and Kasani to him.
Okay.
It had the very funny statement by Rack where Persistence doesn't know if Lev knows, but Rack doesn't know what Jacque knows.
I was gonna ask about the UDC, but I can't ask him right now.
He can't like Lev could metagame and give persistence the knowledge, but I can't metagame because I don't know crap about West.
Persistence knows
Jacque
some
knows.
stuff, but it's not like, oh yeah, here's all their organizational stuff. It's like, no, it's a bunch of powerful wizards that a bunch of people go there.
Jacque knew.
I mean, I've looked over this newspaper that came in. It's from Azarius.
Yes, no, it's the resettlement of Asarius is probably the most impactful political movement of the time. There are, in addition to the city of Westgate, there are other factions vying to resettle the land. It's very tumultuous. It's what's also started this alliance towards Alvarez, because Alvarez made aggressive moves towards the city of Westgate and sort of poked a hornet's nest of global interests.
This sounds very interesting. I'll have to visit it sometime.
Well, when the work is done here,
When the work is done.
I'm sure, if your king would be more than interested in meeting Tenlis, I assume.
Is Aerith even here? She's probably taking care of the kid.
And Aerith was gone.
You're muted if you're trying to talk.
Nope.
Nope.
Guess
Well,
not.
we've talked long enough. What's on that letter?
Yeah, I would bring it to Jacque immediately. I would also immediately call for Elijah. I would call for probably everybody, but especially Elijah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Elijah shows up. And he's been sleeping on the patio all day. Not like he's far away.
Yeah. After Jacque has a chance to read it, I'd make sure that it's handed to Elijah. Just say, what does that sound like to you?
Without saying a word, after reading the letter, he hands it back to Persistence. Jacque rises from his chair. He leaves the room.
Jacque rises. Yeah, okay.
Must be important.
Elijah, in your professional opinion, what's the best way to extract that child?
Quickly.
With all of us or just you?
There is no chance of us all getting in.
I'm many things. I am not stealthy.
But I'm going to need some assistance nearby just in case, though. This is going to tax my limits, and even that may not be enough.
Yes, this isn't Bateau. I was hoping once things settled down here a bit more to send you into the city regardless, to soften it up by eliminating any potential commanders that you could, but I fear this might take precedent.
I find this letter hard to understand, but
I have not
this is
shared
about
it
his
with
children.
Tenlis.
Well, I haven't even looked at the letter, but
Yeah.
there's a crow behind you.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
It sounds like they may be trying to ascend him.
It sounds like they might have already done it. So I'm not sure how Jacque feels. Hopefully they did and the boy is alive and unharmed, but I'm not sure how Jacque will feel about his son remaining his... Wait, do vampires, if you turn them as a kid, do they, like, gothic Lolita for the rest of their life?
No.
Be funny.
In this setting?
No.
I mean, I guess, but I mean, Jacques' son is like, how old is Jacques' son? He's
He's the
pretty.
same age as Gabe. He's around the same age as
Yeah, he's
Gabriel.
12, I thought.
Is he 12? I thought he was older.
I thought that was why
Let
Jacques
me
got real emotional, because Gabe was the same age.
look.
No,
We could
was
talk
Gabe the
about
same age as Jacques' son was when Jacques last saw him? Was that what it was?
that. Might have been what it is. Let me see.
Well, I'm not quite as good as Elijah, but I can be sneaky if I want to. I see it as my duty to help.
We could get close with the rest of us in the Dumont carriage, and then wait at a location on the outskirts of the town for you to extract him, bring him to us, and then we could make our getaway. That way we can also be close enough for the two of you to go in and try and
We
extract
didn't
him.
talk about how old. We didn't
You
talk
can
about how
all
old.
make
Yeah.
your way there
was.
on the carriage if you're going to. I go now.
Do you want to take Tenlis with you? Can he keep up with you?
No. Not once I'm inside. And I need to be quick and perfect for this. No offense, Tenlis, but you're good. I'm better. I'll look forward to having you nearby when the time comes, but I need to get eyes on the situation alone first. There is no other way.
Well, as it be, let's see here. Pull up my book. Let's see here. Just, well, Jock, you'll understand. Pull his name out of the book. Could you sign your name here?
Asking Elijah that.
Yeah. I saw my name.
I may
but
not
I'm
be able to keep up, but I can maybe feed you some intel, I think.
I appreciate.
I'll be your eyes on the outside for the best I can.
The help will be greatly appreciated. I may need you for an extraction when it comes time to get the boy out. And I'm gonna look at Jacque.
He's not there. He left the room.
I go find Jacque.
Depending on how long it takes. Yeah, he was in his armor when they came and met. We're in the meeting room. He is coming down the stairs, sword sheathed, shield on his back, like gear on, heading for the door.
A moment, Jacque, just one. I'm leaving with you, and I'm gonna start walking with him as we head out the door, cause like I'm on the way too. I'm just gonna be
Okay.
in there, and I'm gonna yell at the window as I'm leaving. Persistence, he's leaving. Time to get going.
Oh no, I already asked for the carriage to be brought around.
It's
Where's...
literally just Aerith just like holding her stuff. Like, don't you fucking leave without me. Hold on. And she's like trying to pull on her boot.
We just got
Anyone
out
that
of
is
that
coming,
loathsome disguise. I gotta get back and I gotta put on
it
the
probably would have
spectacles.
taken
anyone,
a bit longer for Aerith and Minx to get here, because I went for Jacques immediately and had Elijah brought, so...
Fair enough. She might be coming around the corner then.
But I would definitely round everybody else up and just say, it's urgent, it's Jacques' son. We need to go.
You have
So
never seen Aerith move faster. You told her that and she's gone.
So as
She'll
we're
show us
walking,
the
I'm
meaning
gonna
of
look at
haste.
Jacque and say, I know you want to go help, but you know as well as I do, the moment you do an open assault on that gate, your son dies. Give me time.
I'd find Jacques and I'd just grab him and say, nope, you need to put on your Dumont uniform immediately, sir.
Oh, that's the strength check then.
Yep.
Try to wrestle out of that.
Is that athletics or just pure strength?
I'd be a grapple check, wouldn't it?
Yeah, which would be athletics to grab him.
I don't have advantage, obviously, but...
Yes, you do.
Oh,
shove him into your arms.
Okay.
You managed to restrain me then.
Yeah. So I just look at you, sir?
I'm fighting again, and I just shout at, as you say that, Elijah, I immediately say to you, And if anything happens to him when I'm able to save him, Aurelius won't even look me in the eye again.
Well,
Aerith is
first,
gonna.
Chimie, your best
we need to
chance.
get you to her with you both alive, so you have eyes to look into. Now get into the uniform.
Aerith does grab
Hold.
Jacque by the face, and she like both hands on the sides of her face, and like pulls like his eyes to hers, and she's like, Jacque, you know better than anyone else that we're better as a team. You have to trust Elijah and know that I'm coming with you. So if anything happens to your boy, I'll be right there, alright? We have to breathe. We cannot do this hastily. The more unprepared we are, the faster your boy will die. So, we hope for the best and you trust in all of our skills, alright? I know you're worried. But being rash won't get us anywhere. Alright? I need you to take a deep breath for me, alright? Just one.
His hands are just clenched tight into fists. There's just the sound of just the metal of his gauntlets just sort of just creasing.
She's right, you know. Haste makes waste.
I need to leave. One thing before
Oh,
I go, Jacque. Your best chance is me. I can get in before they know I'm there. I'm the best chance to get next to him. Doing so puts me in a grave amount of danger, more so than I've ever had to do for you. You're going to need to give me something for this.
Name it.
Something you don't want anyways, not truly. The choice
What?
and the fate of what to do with the Ascended after this is all over is mine. It is an order that I was meant to join, and it is one that I wish to do with what I will when that time comes. The Empire is yours. Do with it what
Don't
you will. The
want
fate of the
this
Ascended is mine.
damned empire.
Good. Then give me this, and I will go get your son.
Fine, go.
Good. And I'm gonna meet eyes with persistence. Just kind of nod my head. That way, I know he heard that, and I'm gonna leave.
Before you leave, I was like, wait, I'm going to take off my sword of
Be
sharpness and
right back.
toss it at him. You might need to make a door.
you did just let go of Jacque. What is Jacque doing?
I have 3 hands, my good
You have a
lady.
mage hand.
As she should well know.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
I was literally thinking that, but I'm trying not to be that way, sir.
Creative use of Mass
I
Effect
pick your,
fields.
I pick your sword up off the ground and I leave. Oh wait, I rolled
Oh
twice.
man,
12 didn't even catch a sword.
that
Yeah.
reminds me when multiple people had varying STDs.
Yep. And I would make sure to grab just like a spare greatsword as we're going, just so I have something.
Okay.
It's like a ceremonial one.
It's real. But yeah, so I'm gonna go and do that and take your sword with me, I guess.
Okay.
It's two-handed, right?
Yeah.
Yep. It is. It's a great.
Um,
It's a sword of sharpness greatsword. You
Okay,
can't
not
really
proficient
use
with
it to
it.
fight, but it can just cut through stone like butter. So.
Yeah, in case my lockpicks fail.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna be pulling on my old army gear and pulling up those the forged letters I had from last time. Possibly making a quick edit or two as I ride, but I
Okay.
am double timing that horse until it dies.
As we're
Quite
getting
literally.
everything in the carriage and getting all our stuff ready, is like, can you trust this Geoffrey? This could be a trap. All right. Oh, we're going.
Yeah.
Aerith
Persist.
does not let go of Jacque until he like takes a breath. She is locked eyes with him and will not move until his hands unclench.
Oh, get the beard. Come on, let's go.
I'm back. What
Okay.
the hell did you just roll a nat one on?
Catching the
Trying to
sword.
catch
but I
a
forgot.
sword.
I actually rolled a 12, but to catch the sword.
Dice.
Why not just hand it to him? Why are we
Because I was
tossing
holding
bladed
you and I
weapons?
had to mage hand it to him. And I wanted it to be more dramatic, where it's just like toss, like, you know, the whole you give somebody a sword and you toss at them, they catch, and it's like, oh god, this is so important to you. It's like,
Yeah.
it's a trope,
No, I was
my good sir.
Fumbles the sharpest sword in the world, cuts off his arm.
Well,
But
But
no, I was really hoping to do that differently. So I'm sorry about that, having to, force that deal into your hands at that moment. I was hoping to have a whole meeting during the session about it. Um, but now we're on the move, and I've already
Oh,
taken
me?
steps. Yeah, no, you as a person. I'm sorry to force Jacque into a corner like that, but I had a whole plan. We were gonna do that rationally.
just for the record,
It can
persistence
be. We
would
can.
not have any
We can. We
objections.
can
So
do this. We can do this. We can do it rationally after this.
Yeah, no, I'll still have a conversation with you about what I plan for them. That way,
Mm.
I'm not planning on just
Yeah.
rebuilding something evil with them.
I was planning on, as soon as we took Bateau and it's just like, oh, this is actually going somewhere, of having a whole discussion just between the three of us. So
Yeah, because
hear
Aerith
that,
can
Minx
build
and
temples.
Tennalist? We gotta
Aerith can build
go.
temples everywhere.
it would.
Minx
Mhm.
is gonna spread the UDC everywhere. So those things are just going to happen.
Yeah, and its persistence's view is like, there are two people here who are from Alvarez and who have a stake in what's happening with this place. Persistence doesn't, but persistence needs to know what they want the end game to be. Because up until now, persistence signed on expecting this to be a suicide mission, and it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, we're not dying. Oh, cool. Okay, so we need to have a better plan.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, from the beginning, it's still been forming even in my own head and all through all these sessions of just what Elijah's after. But he was always not hoping to. He was hoping to destroy the system, but rebuild something on it. He's not just hoping to tear things down because they did me wrong and I want vengeance. He wants there to be a
Titan,
reason
we're
behind it.
saved.
uh,
Titan, we're saved.
and there,
More like under new management.
Exactly, but better management.
Most
It's-
important thing about these revolutions that always seems to be overlooked is the plan afterwards. There's like, oh, we're gonna break the system.
yeah,
Anyways, now
that's
he's
what
lawlessness.
persistence is concerned about. It's like, oh, this is going to be successful. Okay, you hired me to do this properly. I'm going to make sure that we do this properly.
Cool. I'll wait until that conversation to have the full meeting then.
But you would probably tell that just from I'm not sure if you could tell, because persistence has expressed nothing but disdain for the ascended and blessed so far. So I'm not
Mhm.
sure where he would appear to come off on it. I will say,
Yeah,
as we're in
if
the
you'll,
yeah.
sorry,
No, go ahead.
if you'll notice, Elijah has stopped calling them the blessed throughout this entire session. Now that he's forming a plan, he is going to start not using that word if he can get away with it.
Alright.
Because his plan is to restructure them in a different direction.
Yeah, cool. While we're in the carriage, at least after Jacques has calmed down and is no longer actively trying to get away, persistence would hand the letter to Aerith.
He's not actively. He is not
Yeah.
calm.
But he'd hand the letter around in the carriage and just ask the carriage, it's like, so what are the odds that Joffrey has been compromised and this is a trap?
I get a bad feeling about this, but hopefully this goes better this time.
Well, we're definitely not sending you shopping.
Oh, I was talking about something a little older than that.
Oh, fair.
I'm getting a bit of nostalgia about this. Let's just do better this time.
Very well. Aerith, Minsk, what do you think? Aerith, did you ever meet Joffrey? Do you have a good read on the gentleman?
Did I ever meet Java? I don't think I did.
You would not have, no.
I'm
'cause,
fishing for somebody with good insight to make an insight check on this letter, because I have a +0.
the only person who would have met him would have been Jacque.
The only way would be
And
me.
he is emotionally fucking compromised.
Yeah.
I do
I have
have a good
insight, but I've
insight
never
though.
met a Joff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, does Jacques want to
would I
roll
have-
with disadvantage?
Is there any chance I would have bumped into him? I've been all over.
Yeah, there's a possibility. Have we established that you'd operated in Bateau before?
Yes.
Okay.
No
and
one
yeah,
recognized me because I wasn't actively operating here, but like I've been through these keeps.
And
Yeah.
And I'm personally interested in Jacques making a with disadvantage check just to see how poorly that goes.
With a 15, I mean it's a letter. It certainly fits with his style from the previous letter.
So I at least think it was written by the same person I've met, and the same person
Yeah,
I might
that-
have traded a letter with once or twice while I was out in the field.
Yeah. So it is very hard to tell from just this letter. You would need more information to be able to make a determination. Perhaps once you
Okay.
get to Bateau, you'll be able to get the lay of the land better. And so actually getting to Bateau, we'll deal with that. You will arrive next week, but we can at least give an overview of the city.
To
this
sort
week.
of hedge. Rack, are you here? I really want to know Rack's response to this because that's Persistence has a gut feeling about it, but he wants to see how Rack is able. What Jacques says when he asks if this is a trap. Damn it, Rack.
He's a busy man.
I am going to assume that he rolls.
Sorry, you all have been cutting in and out, so I never got that.
Oh, can you roll insight with disadvantage? It's basically the gist of it. Okay, it's not.
Yeah.
So persistence.
The only thing, Jeffrey is a trustworthy man. I don't believe that our correspondence has been found out.
Would you trust him with your family's
but
life?
I believe that he has. Yes.
You would trust him with your family's life. Because we have
Yes.
two options here. We can either tell him that we are heading there now, in the hopes that he has not been compromised and that he will help us, or we can take precautions that he has been and tell him that we won't be able to send a team for 2 days, so that if he is compromised, they are not wise to Elijah being there. And Elijah's gone by the time this conversation is happening. So those are a choice that you need to make, Jacques. Do we tell Joffrey that we are heading there immediately and ask him to assist, or do we risk tipping our hand and getting ourselves all killed because he might be compromised and this might be a trap to lure you out? And Persistence just fixes you with just a hard gaze, just his eyes just glowing with that sort of like corona, just stoic and pale, not trying to get you to do one or the other, just like impressing upon it's like, hey, you need to make a choice of whose lives you're going to put at risk here.
You let him know. If it needs to be, I'll write it myself that I'm on my way. If it's a trap meant for me, they would not expect us, one, to send the advanced party of Elijah forward. And I don't believe that he has full assessment of our strength.
I give
He's
you
wanting to
you a
get
pen, paper, and a
a
little writing desk.
reaction from me. I simply just write back of um it's just G, I am on my way, J.
Okay, and you're sending this as you guys are in the carriage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. So with the carriage, it's about a 5-hour journey. So I'm assuming, and you got this at
And
about
at that point, after I give
Mhm.
Persistence the letter, that's when I start putting on the Dumont armor.
Okay. Yeah, you've got plenty of time. Um, let's see.
I find a healthy amount of paranoia to be quite beneficial to one's health. I believed I always surrounded myself with trustworthy people. Could have gone better.
I do not disagree, but this is not your call in this situation.
I'm just offering a wizened advice.
It is good advice. And Persistence was kind of just like, I don't know, just not really say much more, just go into quiet, just pre-battle mode, and just
Mhm.
like, I don't know, if he's sitting next to Aerith, just hold her hand and just quietly wait out the car ride and try not to provoke Jacque, just let him deal with his own turmoil.
Okay.
Yeah, I do believe Aerith genuinely sort of chatters idly. She used to do it, back in Westgate, whenever anyone would get nervous, or specifically Jacques, like, or would get upset. So she's just talking, just sort of quietly to him.
Mhm. You get a letter back about an hour into the ride. That just says, Jay, meet me at my house. G.
I'm back.
All right.
If you can,
After he gets that letter, he spends the rest of the ride just sharpening his sword. Um,
Does he live out in the country or is he in the city? If you share that information.
well, he's gonna need to tell you where to drive. So
Yeah, he lives in the city.
he lives in the city. But Elijah will beat us there, and I just need him to get a visual and an idea on Godwin's state. Like like the hand that's grasping the hilt of his sword just clenches it tighter, um, as he says that. He sort of just pauses and he just takes a quick deep breath.
Okay.
We'll treat this like we did Philip's Lunch. House Dumont visiting. We need to find a reason to be there. Be the dock master, Josephine Rochette. She need to meet there for some necessary trade negotiation. Hopefully, she's still dock master.
All right, they'll take us to the docks, and then
No, that will be our reason to get through the gates. The moment we are through the gates, we make our way there. Persistence and I will speak to Jeffrey, while Tenelus, you, Minx, and Aerith head to the docks to ward off any necessary eyes that might be following us. And then make your way back if you can lose them. And then we can go from there. Persistence, your thoughts?
I don't believe we should split up that much. We've already sent Elijah off on his own. There'll be eyes on us, but
true.
doing anything to remove those eyes is going to arouse more suspicion than leaving them be. Let's discuss with
That's true.
Joffrey, see
But if we
what.
split up Tenla separately, he might find another underground ring for you to fight a wizard with.
Well, I was actually going to comment on that. I wanted to see
See,
the
so
sword
like
system a
that's the
bit
first
too.
out of all of his mood, that is the first time that he gives a sort of smirk.
This guy just stare at him. It's just like, well, I do try to earn my pay, sir.
I know last time
All right. So they
I
all stay together.
was a guard. But if our cover story is dealing with the docks, I think it might be better this time if I were a slave. Ugh. That really
Oh, we can make that happen. And Persistence pulls open one of the secret compartments and takes out just like a collar and manacles and stuff.
No,
no. Why not?
no. If we are going to use the docks and they wish for anything, I would like to have a knowledgeable pirate instead of slave in the cart.
Pirates are turned into
But it
slaves
won't
quite
be a
frequently, sir.
pirate. Yes, but doesn't have to be a pirate. It's a knowledgeable. We have a knowledgeable person who happened to be a pirate. That is your dockmaster, Lord Dumont.
Very well, sir. What outfit does that entail?
You'd
Wear her
probably be wearing
simple
her.
garb, just of the colors of House Dumont.
Good.
She is traveling on official business, after all.
Puts the collar away.
You can save that when we're back in Chimie. You two have the
Gross.
Commodore with you.
I mean, I wouldn't use this one.
Alright, so I'm the dockmaster, alright. It's a it's a good thing I changed out of my high priestess's clothes before I got in the cart. Alright.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to discuss?
I honestly, in Persistence's head, Persistence's mind, Elijah's gonna get there and do whatever he needs, sort of before we're even done with our conversation with Joffrey. So it's kind of why
Okay.
I'm trying to
Persistence is
find
hedging
the
his bets.
name of the dude. I can't find him in these lists.
Which dude?
B.
Oh, Lord Blackthorn?
There we go. Just gonna the one last thing before we go is that I will look at persistence and I will say, or look at everyone and I will say, I appreciate you all for this help. You don't have to do this. But Blackthorn is mine.
Very well, sir.
Think nothing of it, comrade.
When did that Among Us character get drawn in the
I don't know where
mountains?
it's. When
I
did
think
the
There's
so.
so
It's been
much
volcano?
showing on
art.
this map this
It's
whole
so
time.
much. Yeah.
I had a lot more on here. I deleted it.
Yeah. No, we know.
I like this mountain over here. He's got a fire head.
The Viking flame helmet.
Well, dwarves live over here, right? So it's like
Alrighty.
it's just like a big rock, and the dwarves made it look like a dwarf. They put a fire on top of it.
Is that Carrick 8 Peaks?
I think so.
I really
Would be
need the
fun to
Alrighty.
old
find
man
out
to
more
go
about
away,
the
though.
desert dwarves, though.
Let's spring this trap, baby.
Thur, I didn't write it down because I was writing down the name of the sword that the dwarves told me instead. What was they said the name that they thought was the vampire who killed my brother, right?
Yes, I believe so.
What was that name? I know it's not Blackthorn. It's something else.
It's yeah. Um,
I feel like I would recognize it if ever you say it, so I didn't write it down. But I'm just like, I should probably keep that written down.
I feel like I wrote it down somewhere, but now I am not so sure. I'll have to go back and look at the video.
Really, the greatest form of notes, though it's a bit bloated.
Yeah.
Just watch us at 2 times speed.
Yeah.
Then I don't sound nearly as podcasty.
Okay, so I hear as a baby knocking at my door who is very upset with how late they're staying up.
So we might want to end it here.
Yeah, but before we go, I do
This is a
want
good spot to
to
end.
move you guys back over here so you can get an overview of the city.
Cool. Before next session, I also do
let's
want
see
to.
here. Where exactly are we gonna blow stuff up?
Probably this big circle. It's the perfect place for
Oh,
a bomb.
Joffrey's is close to the docks, so that works. It's also close to the castle center. This is a nice city, Thur.
Thank you.
This is
I
very
actually
well
made
done.
it myself.
Very nice city.
Wow.
I've
'cause
seen
I got
the
got
program
the
looks familiar.
yeah. Well, it's just sections.
Yeah.
Right. So I just have
Oh man, wait a minute. Before we leave, we need to go up north and we need to cause some big trouble in Little Bateau.
Also, before we end the session, I do want to, pass along the question for you to think about for next session, I guess. Have any of my contacts that I sent letters out to, like in session 1, sent a letter back yet? As far as the other Damphir assassins that I tried to recruit?
Yeah. Let me think about it.
Cool. Because I've been waiting to hear back from them, and
Everyone
I
else
haven't
busy trying to
They have
everyone else busy trying to do their own thing. And Elijah's here creating his own officio assassinorum.
Oh yeah, now especially now that I know that we have the chance to make assistants.
They have 2 mid-river forts.
I want
You blow
to.
them up.
I very much want to know if my people have sent any letters yet.
I didn't say it would be an easy nut
Yeah,
to crack.
Bateau's
Oh, we're gonna. I'm gonna be so happy once we do, because honestly, this is all prologue. This is like fucking Vinland Saga. We're gonna take Bateau and just gonna flash across the scene. End of prologue. Just
It's like, all
Yeah.
right, what
This
else?
is, we take Bateau and then this is the title card.
Castle Cartier
This is the
gonna
real
head
start of the
to war.
campaign.
We spend so long. It's like, what if we get attacked by dudes? Anyways, let's talk about take Plateau.
well, we're not gonna take it ourselves. I mean, after we rescue the kid, we're gonna fight off the crusade, and then we're
If
gonna
we
turn
kill
on
enough
Bateau.
vampires, who's gonna stop us?
Everyone else.
There's only so many vampires.
in this city.
Yeah.
There's,
A
We're not
lot.
out of
there's 2 mid-island forts, Cell.
Yes,
Yeah,
and I think about the sewer system that lies beneath.
Yeah, just to put a bug in your ear to see if any of my contacts have sent me letters back yet, because I'd like to get them to Chimie so I can start working with them. If any of them have decided to turn traitor with me.
Okay.
I actually reported you to their local heresy office.
Well, I only sent letters to my 3 most trusted first. The 3 that I'm almost certain won't.
Every one of them betrayed you.
I've got dozens others that I will
Twice.
Mhm.
that I'm going to send letters to as soon as we announce our presence, which we're about to do.
They're offered Capri Sun flavored blood, and they're like, "Whoa."
Aren't
Yeah,
people
it's this
just
guy.
Capri Suns?
I'll offer them scented blood.
Yeah, that's Capri Sun blood. They're offering it fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. Time for me to sneak and where's he being held? The castle?
Yeah, Castle Gautier.
Time for me to sneak into a castle.
They haven't renamed it?
Hopefully I do
Oh.
well.
In a regime like this, I feel like the names are old enough that having one wayward noble doesn't make them change up everything because they like to have consistency. If they suddenly have to tell everyone that they've changed it, people will be like, wait, why have they changed it? Why do they need to change it?
I think there's a difference between, like, this guy just sucked for a generation and the house lost favor, and this guy is a traitor and has been,
Well,
like...
they'd
But-
also have to admit to the wide populace that he's a traitor.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Doesn't make him look good.
Nope, that's fair.
Doc, can you tell me more about this House
A
of
lot of the
Twilight?
people, a lot of the people until we did the crap at Chimie believed I was dead.
Yeah.
They might still firmly believe that.
Yeah, it's somebody did something to like reanimate your corpse.
Fair.
Yes,
That makes sense.
Cartier died a hero.
Either way,
Yeah.
Like,
good night.
Good night.
Right. See ya.
What's
See
this
ya.
House of Twilight about? I want to know more.
It's where
I'm gonna imagine it's a
that's where
church.
Princess Sparkle lives.
Doc, can you tell me
Get
more
out.
about the House of Twilight?
Get out now. Serve, you should have killed him. You should have killed him. You had the chance today and you failed.
I
You
used
should
to
have killed
wonder
him.
what friendship
For
could
that
be.
joke alone.
How would
Not
I have
even
died
for-
today without, like, divine intent?
A purple
Gabriel's come
unicorn
back to
Gabriel
shows
you.
up
had
and
a
kills you.
Vorpal training with Gabriel. Gabriel makes a swing, rolls in that 20, and then surprise, he has a Vorpal sword. No more head.
From his dad.
Headless persistence.
Alright, I am headed to bed.
See ya.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, y'all.
Don't
Right.
get
Good night.
Yeah, to find out more about the House of Twilight. Gonna sneak out at night.
There you go.
Alrighty.
Right. See ya.
Wait.
Oh, whoops.